Welcome, welcome to this week's Market Bite. I'm Stephanie Ross. I'm here with Dena Gates with My Carolinas Insurance and Woody Martin, one of my teammates here at Bailey Basnight. Dena is here today to talk to us about flood insurance.
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me. Thank
Absolutely.
you guys. I just wanted to talk a little bit about flood. FEMA has changed the map in Eastern North Carolina. So some of the areas that weren't in a flood zone might now be in a flood zone. So I thought it might be good to talk to you guys a little bit about that because maybe some of the areas where a house was close to a flood area, maybe their yard was, or their neighbor was, or the street was, and if they have a mortgage, their mortgage may require them to have flood insurance now, or they may want to check with their insurance company to see if they're in a flood zone now if they don't have a mortgage, because for some reason FEMA has changed it and they're considering it a risk.
Okay. And so I know you had mentioned before, sometimes people, if they already have a flood insurance policy in place and somebody's buying the property, they can assume that flood insurance policy?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, if you're purchasing a new home and it is in a flood zone and that seller does have it, check with your agent. Yes, absolutely, to see if they have a current flood policy. I did have somebody assume a policy, and it was around $800 when they assumed it, but when we checked it, and it was close to $4,000 if they were getting the policy themselves. So sometimes assuming is going to save them a ton of money.
Absolutely. I have questions sometimes where I have clients that come in and they say, I want to be at the coast, but I don't want to be in a flood zone. I try to reassure them that chances are you may be in a flood zone. They also ask questions if it's just on the corner of my yard and it's not affecting the house. What about the AE7, AE8? And I try to explain to them, about the levels of if your house is off the ground, by 7 feet, that it's really about that. Are there anything else, little details that can give them some reassurance that just because it says flood zone, it's not a scary thing?
Well, I will say we are in Eastern North Carolina, so everywhere is a flood zone. Even if they say you do not need a flood insurance, we have seen areas flood in the past that weren't in flood zones. And let me just say, if you do, if you're concerned, check to see how much policy is, because you could get an insurance policy for flood insurance, a couple $100. They're not that expensive.
Right. And I've seen that a lot. I've told them most of the time it's the wind and hail that really costs you.
Exactly.
And the flood policy is minimal, unless you're, of course, in an obvious risk area. But
and we have a lot of water here, so
and there's people. I've also asked, do I have to have a flood insurance policy? I know we have cash buyers; they're not required, but I have homeowners that buy them all the time just for peace of mind.
Exactly, peace of mind. They don't have to, but
and those are the other important thing about flood policy too is there's a cap on those, correct?
Yes, there is. It's $250,000. You can purchase flood insurance over that $250,000, but that's where we get into the excess flood, and excess flood is very expensive. But even if you have, if you're getting a mortgage, they will only require that $250,000, so you don't have to get the excess flood.
Okay. Very valuable information in our market.
Yes.
No doubt. So if you're looking to buy and you're really stressed out about the flood zone, don't.
Yes.
You can get a policy. If you are in an area that's designated one, you get your coverage. It's not going to be crazy expensive, and if you're not, and it gives you peace of mind, you can get it as well. So
exactly,
great information.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dena, for joining us, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye.